As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
To us. Hello.
With my co-host Crystal.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you.
So, folks, as you know, we've been running this amazing series of Garvey 2.0. We're doing an emergence of economic development from the diaspora, the African diaspora, to the Caribbean, and tailor it in with a lot of American small businesses that we want to show this triangular trade of commerce, the new triangular trade, where we want to show how business can be done from here, the U.S., with the Caribbean nations. There are 26 of them that we're looking at. And we're also looking at the 54 African nations. So that's how we're doing. This is our new triangular trade route. So, co-host, how you doing today? How you feeling? How you doing? How you looking?
I am fine. I am hot. Oh wow! I was just telling somebody earlier I was on a meeting, and they.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, they asked me how was I this morning, and I looked down at my, on the corner of your computer, it tells you what the temperature is.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
Yes.
So this morning, it had no temperature at this morning. Now it has 96.
So you broke the heat scale.
Right, right now.
Wow. Folks, we're going through some amazing temperature here in Los Angeles, California, the city of angels. We want to thank all of you who tune in to us today and tune in to us on a weekly basis. You guys are phenomenal. You are our day ones, and we really appreciate you guys. My co-host is going to tell you guys a little bit about this show, this business zone, and also how you guys can get connected with us. We've been growing tremendously, guys. We're at 1.8 thousand followers, supporters, subscribers, and we would love to hit that 2,500 marker, guys. So help us out here. We're providing you guys some great materials each week on this new Garvey 2.0 Black Innovation by Black program, and that's really what we're trying to do here, is to help businesses. And you don't necessarily have to be Black to be a part of this. If you're Latino, you're Asian, you're Native American, you're any one of those groups who felt like you can benefit or participate in this program, that's what we're looking for, guys. We want you guys as a part of this. We no longer want to depend on the Babylonian system. That's what we'll call it. We no longer want you guys to depend on the Babylonian system to try to make it, to try to generate revenues. We want things to be done differently. We're taking a different route, and that's what this business zone is all about. So, co-host, talk to me. What's going on?
Exactly. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Happy to have you here. We have someone that has a SOS. I'm not sure this is Shus X, and I'm not sure who they are, but they say I really need help. So that sounds like an SOS to me. So we will address what you dealt with. And then we have Danzy Salome. Salome to you as well. Welcome to the community brief. I'm confusing up days. Today is Friday. So this is the business zone. And so the business zone, guys, we've been on the air for 10 years. July 8th actually marked our 10th year. And we are here as business coaches, Gilbert and myself. And we're here to help you um, grow your business, sustain your business ready, bank loan ready, and contract ready. And the way we do that is in our practices, we actually go through the areas of our expertise. So mine is financial structure. And then Gilbert is actually our contract procurement supplier, diversity supplier guru here on the show. So if you really truly want to do business on a higher level, then Gilbert is the person you need to help you do that. Myself, I help you get the ground floor solid, so that as you're going up the elevator, you have a solid foundation, and then you can continue to grow. Because with a weak foundation, if you guys are in the construction industry, a good wind will blow over the building, and so we want to make sure that your building doesn't blow over, your business doesn't crumble. That's what we do, and that's what we're here to do. And so, but here on the Business Zone, we actually give away free advice and free training, free information. Whereas in our practices, it comes with a price. But you can get all you need to get right here on the Business Zone until you really do need to have us. And you put out an SOS that says, I really need help. And then at that point, then we can do a one-on-one with you. You can go over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and join the family, as well as you can follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We are here. But I guess collectively, over 60 years between the both of us, 30 years of experience working with every level business that is actually doing business. Some of them that are no longer doing business, but we've been doing this for a long time, and this is a passion of ours. So we want you to get as much information, because it's all about that. But right now, we are on a journey, and our journey is looking to open up new markets for us, because on a real our show today is what and that's Marcus Garvey understood about the um, global economics and international trade. And so that's what we're going to talk about, and that's what we've been talking about, bridging that gap between, as Gilbert said, the African diaspora, but this is anyone doing business, and making sure that we understand what the logistics are, and that we don't have to do business right here in our backyard. We can venture out out of our state, out of our neighborhood, out of our city, our counties, our states, and then we can actually start doing international global business. And so everyone should be on that pathway right now, because in the next 10 years, uh, the world has changed. Our country is changing, and you're gonna need a new playground to play in for a little while. That's all I can say to you. It's gonna require a new money making playground for you, and but we all should be diverse, right? So all your money should come from one pocket, and that's our show. That's us. That's the Business Zone. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. Before we get started, so let me tell you how to go over here to this our little area where you can take a picture of the QR code, hit the subscribe button, and go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this presentation, please leave comments and likes, and by all means, share with friends and family that are also looking to expand their horizons in their business. And so with that, we'd love to invite you to our family. So Gilbert, how was your week?
Oh, my weekend has been great, and as a matter of fact, I wanna add a little something to Shush EXE. She said, "I really need your help," and just so you know, Shush, that's really what we're about. As a matter of fact, my slogan for my business is called the Small Business Paramedic. So I'm always here to help and provide resuscitation for any small business out there. So I'm happy to hear that you need our help. We're going to help you tremendously. I'll also put my phone number and my email address in the chat before this program is over, because I really want to see what type of help you need and how we can help you. We want to get you in that queue, guys, so you can start getting these government contracts. Over over $900 billion in government contracts were awarded last year. And guess what? None of you small businesses have gotten any of it because you either didn't know about it, you didn't know how to go about it, no one taught you anything, no one shared resources with you, or they didn't send those opportunities to you. So, my job is to get you guys prepared, get you guys contract ready, business ready, funding ready. My co host, she is and she's an expert when it comes to bookkeeping, accounting, doing that forensics on your books to make sure she studied what's going on, knowing why money is going out of your business, why it's not coming in. And those are things, as a matter of fact, in our mentorship class that's coming up this Tuesday, she's going to be teaching bookkeeping, and she's also going to go over QuickBooks. She's also going to go over your balance sheet and your P&L and all those things that will help you to have that stability in your business. So if you guys would love to check out our class this Tuesday, 5:30 to 7:30, I will put that link and I'll put the information in the chat for you guys so you can check it out. I'm telling you, guys are gonna love this. We have a goal that within 12 months, many of you guys should be obtaining government contracts. We're going to show you how. Okay, so
Oh,
uh, Shush EXE. Just remember, you're on our list. We're going to be able to help you and Dan's 21, and also Pal Notary. Pal
hey
Notary is
Miss
in the house.
Pat,
Mr. Clerk.
welcome. Good to see you. That's one of our regulars, and actually, she has been in your class, your courses, right?
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
one of my day ones, man. She's been in my program. As a matter of fact, she's been in my first program since I was over at Pepperdine University there in Malibu. She was there back in 2013, 14, somewhere around there. So yeah, man, Sinclair is my day one, and I believe Izette is on here as well. So, these are folks that they represent the program well. They do very well. They follow my lead, and they've been doing amazing things. So, yes, and I want to do that for the rest of you guys who are listening to this program or watching it. We know we've got some ninja watchers out there. They're watching, but they don't want to join the group. They don't want to join the family. But just like the prodigal son, man. Yeah, at some point you guys will come back home and you'll say, you know what, I've been away for too long. I apologize. I need your help. Come on, give me that business help that I need. Okay. And we'll help you guys. So
Yeah, yeah, they always, well, mine's always come back because the tax season rolls around every year. So they have no choice but to come back to me if
yeah.
they ready to file taxes. But before we jump into our show, and just a little synopsis of what the journey that we've been on for the last couple of weeks is, there's something I do want to share with everyone. Here, if you're listening here in America, on is the November 3rd is voting day, and this is our midterms, and this is vitally, vitally, vitally important. Um, And so we need to make sure that we're going out to the polls. And prior to that, a lot of us are already getting our voting, make a plan to vote early. I highly suggest you do that. So on November 3rd, we're going to have our general election here in Los Angeles County. And so we're encouraging everyone, not just here in California, but in the entire country. There's some very important things on the ballot that affects us as citizens of the United States, as young people in the United States, as seniors in the United States. This is a very important election. So please get out there, guys. As soon as you get your voting by mail, if that's what you're doing, you can actually start right away. There are going to be a number of town hall meetings to help you make those decisions. There's some propositions that are really, really important on the ballot. So by all registered voters would be receiving their ballots no later than October 5th. So you can drop it in a box. If you're anywhere near any of the county buildings, say like in Norwalk, which is where the county recorder's office is, you can go there and drop it in. In very important races, I always go to the county recorder's office and take my ballot all the way inside the building and put it inside the hands of the processors that are there. If you need to have more information and reminders, you can go to LA Vote. Website is lavote.gov to get more information. But it is vitally, vitally important that every eligible registered, and if you haven't registered, please go out and register. Every registered voter needs to be at the polls. This is very important. This is the future of our children. And so, just to let you know, voting day, I think, is less than 90 days from next week, actually. So, we really want to go out and take care of that. All right. So, that's my little voting spiel. I will be saying that every week. How important voting is. We will be talking about that because even what we're talking about today has a lot to do with governmental and geopolitical information stuff that's going on in the world. All righty, so that's my spiel, Gilbert, and I'm sticking with that one. But guys,
I want to add something to that voting thing, co-host. I know a lot of people don't care about voting because, they figure, hey, nothing is going on to help me, help my small business, help my community or my family. But one thing I really want small businesses to really think about, and we got to galvanize to do this and fight together. I got a call this morning from LA Metro. They're trying to get me to renew my certification, my DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and my SBE, Small Business Enterprise. So I had to come to Jesus talk with them. I said, listen, man, you guys are trying to get us to do these certifications, and you guys do nothing for us small businesses. We waste our time, do all these crazy certifications. You don't send us opportunities. You try to put a lot of restrictions on us small businesses because now, as you know, with the DBE program, the federal administration with the president and whoever is in office right now, they are trying to restrict our access to disadvantaged business enterprise certification and contracts. So they're saying we got to prove that we're economically disadvantaged. Now, come on. Which minority small business that's not economically disadvantaged? And the threshold is $2 million. That's the threshold, $2 million. That's what your personal net worth should be. So, and then the gross receipts is supposed to be about 30 million. So come on, do we have that kind of money? We got that
Last time I
money
checked
laying
my
around.
bank account, Gilbert, I didn't have that many zeros in my balance. Maybe there's some people out here that do have that, but I think on the average business owner, that's not the case.
The average minority business don't have that. So then they're trying to tell us, okay, so we're putting that restriction, and you on top of that, you got to prove that you're disadvantaged. Now, which small minority business does not have barriers? You either have barriers by not getting credit. You're not getting credit from the banks. They're telling you, oh, I'm sorry, you're not qualified. So that's a barrier right there. Then many of us, we've got our operations in the hood. That's another barrier right there. Because of redlining, they draw that red line around the map and they said, well, guess what? Certain people who live and operate in certain neighborhoods, you can't get access to opportunities. We're not going to give you mortgages. We're not going to give you student loans. We're not going to help you to get your kids to university. So all of those barriers we're encountering, but at the same time, they're telling us we're not economically disadvantaged, which is ridiculous. So that's another reason, guys, why you guys need to vote. So you need to vote people in who can help with that mission. So before you select these guys to vote for, you and women, you want to find out, have a talk with them, have your representative talk to them. Say, hey, what are you guys doing for small businesses? Are you guys helping in order to help these economically disadvantaged small businesses gain access to government contracts and certification? Are you doing that for us? And how are you doing that? You want to ask those tough questions, guys. Don't just stay quiet in your corner and let them do what they want to do. Put them to work, because that's why you're voting for them to work for you. So I just want to put that out there, guys, to let you know that that's a possibility and it's out there. And like I say in my Come to Jesus meeting that I had with them this morning, they conceded to a lot of things. They said, yes, you're right. We really should do a better job in reaching out to small businesses, helping you guys to gain access to some of our opportunities. Make sure you guys are certified. Don't put up as many barriers. That's what they're saying. So they know they're doing these things, guys. So I just want to let you know. And the reason I can talk to them like this is because I used to work for these guys. I used to work for them. I put a lot of these policies together. I know what the programs are about. The small business contracting manual, I helped to rewrite those things for Metro. So I know those things. So that's why I'm able to have that kind of conversation with them, because people who don't have access to the inside, you don't know what questions to ask. You don't know what to say to them. But I know what to say because I've been there. And, it's just ridiculous what they're doing. So you guys really need to get out there and vote for the candidate can really help you guys. Okay. So I just want to put that little bit out there, guys, so you understand what's going on. All right. So
I like
my
that.
final.
I would like to. I have one question.
Yeah.
How do you prove that you're disadvantagedly? How do you prove that? Do you have to bring them to your house where you have nothing on your table, or do you have to show them that you can't pay your light bill? How you do that? What kind of documentation do you?
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question you ask. And I said to them this morning, I said, listen, many of my small businesses, they can't get lines of credit, that cannot get loans. So that's alone can tell you that they're economically disadvantaged. Now, what would you like to receive from them so they can demonstrate that they're economically disadvantaged? Well, if you send a letter that you got rejected from the bank, come on, not many of us have those stupid letters to show, because sometimes they just tell you on the phone that you're not qualified, or they send you some stupid email that said you're not qualified. So there's not really any substantial materials that you can provide them to say, hey, here's proof I'm economically disadvantaged. Then we start having a conversation. She said, well, if you have student loans, I said, student loans, fancy you mention student loans. Because you know me, I have this big old challenge with the student loan system for many years now. I said, listen, I had a student loan for $46,000, which I took out back in 1999. Okay. $19.99. So $46,000. They told me, and I paid back 93,000. 93,000, right? That means that means I doubled. I doubled what they loaned me, right? And even after I paid 93,000, they're telling me, "Hey, you still owe 33,000." Wait a second. I said, "This is a shakedown. This is a shakedown, and you guys need to do better. You cannot allow these organizations to rip us off like that." I said, "So if you want me to show you my student loan and show you what's going on, and if that's going to prove economically disadvantaged data, then I will send that to you." Because I even have a copy of a letter from the Attorney General from the state of California. So maybe that will help you too. So
all I know is
go ahead.
all I know is that's some interesting laughing.
And you know what's amazing?
You pay. Wait a minute. You borrowed. Let me see if I get this math right. You borrowed $45,000 for your education.
I borrowed $46,000 from them in 1999. Yeah.
And then in 2000, you paid to what date was that?
So I think it was 2021, 22, 23, somewhere around there. At that point, I paid 93,000 back to them. And they're telling
what kind
me,
of interest rate was that? Like a 200% interest rate? Because that was like double what you owed. Right? Double what you owed. I'm just trying to do the basic math. You paid them 93,000. You borrowed 46,000. You paid them 93,000, and then they say you owe how much more?
Another 33,000.
Just checking the math.
That's like loan sharking 101 right there. You know, that's crazy.
But every dollar you borrow, you owe us 500%.
Exactly. And then I reach out to the Attorney General. He sent some little crazy letter to me, "Oh, well, you know what? We're holding them accountable." So how are you holding them accountable? Well, they're going to have to pay back $450 billion. I said, all right. So when am I going to get my money? I still haven't seen anything. Still haven't seen anything, man. So it's a scam. And, these are things that will demonstrate that you guys are economically disadvantaged, whether it's from you or the kids that you send to college. Those are documentary proof that you can demonstrate to these certifying agencies that you're economically disadvantaged. So by voting for some of these people who get in there and fight these fights for you will help to put you in a better position. So you now can go after government contracts, because we have a lot of government contracts listed in my platform, Small Biz Pro, that many of you guys can check out and see what's going on. And the beauty about it is we help you guys to do those proposals and submit them so that you have a better chance of winning. So that's what we do in our mentorship program, guys. This coming Tuesday, we have our coach, Crystal Mitchell. She's going to be there. She'll be teaching bookkeeping and QuickBooks. And she'll be going over balance sheet, profit and loss, all your financial statements, and showing you guys why you need to do certain things in order to be successful in your business. So that's what we do. We don't play games. This past Tuesday, we had one of the bank representatives from BMO Bank. He was there going over lines of credits. And, he has some programs. He talks about grants and all of that. He's still supposed to send me some materials so I can disperse to the proteges in the program so they can see how to access some of these fundings that they're talking about. So, that's what we do in this program, guys. We don't play. We're very serious. We're going after that money. Like I say, $900 billion in procurement was awarded last year, and none of you guys got any of it. I mean, luckily I got some of it because, I have network and I have connections. So people would call me and say, "Hey, you want to be on my team?" I say, "Sure, let's do it." So that's how I get some of those contracting dollars. But many of you don't have people calling you. You don't have people in the right place to reach out to you and give you access to opportunities. So that's why I want to prepare you guys in my mentorship program so that you can go after these opportunities and win. That's what we're about, is helping you to win. So shush be exact. I want to help you to win. So I put my phone number and my email in the chat. So check it out. You give me a call, and I'll sit down with you, and I'll do a readiness assessment with you and see what you need to have done. My co-host will do the same with you. She'll do a funding readiness assessment with you guys to see what documents you have and which one you don't have. So I know this is a little long introduction to our program, but it's better to put information out there that you guys can use than to just, move on to something that, might not be readily beneficial to you. So with that being said, co-host,
We're
are
ready
you
to rock
ready
and roll,
for
guys.
our program?
Yes, I am. I am. So today we are talking. So the last couple of weeks we've talked about bridging the gap, and why that's important. Leads presented themselves to bridging the African diaspora, which is actually the entire world. But right now we are focusing on individual countries in the Caribbean. We're starting there first, and then we're branching out to the continent of Africa, and then the entire world. So this opens up an opportunity for you to grow your business and to make money. And it's all about contracting. You still would be creating partnerships and networks in order to do business in other countries, just like you do here. But you're not limiting your opportunities. You're really expanding your opportunities. So today we're going to do our show on actually what Marcus Garvey understood, and translating um, his who he was. First of all, for some of you, you may not know who he was, so we're going to talk about that. But you're going to see how every week we're going to be bringing us closer and closer together to understand what are the opportunities for us. So last week we did talk about um, what there's a lot of conversation about Black unity going on the internet. A lot of influencers, a lot of political leaders, a lot of successful industrialists are speaking of it, and each government across the African diaspora are also having these conversations about uh, the the opportunities for us to actually do businesses together. And Gilbert, I was watching a video this week with an influencer, and he was talking about, I believe he was in Barbados, and he was talking about doing business in with Black entrepreneurs here in the United States, and he made a very great point. He says, someone asked him why would that be beneficial. He says, because if you don't know it, but African Americans' consumer power in the United States is through a $1.8 trillion. So I don't know if you guys take an image of filling up a couple of football fields with dollar bills, or ten. Let's go with $10,000 bills, and you still would have room in those two say the size of SoFi, or any large stadium in the country. That's a lot of money. So if we take that 1.8 trillion, which is earmarked to be 2 trillion by 29, 27, 28. They say 30, but I'm going to say by 28. And just think about that. Just think about how that would help the countries that need an influx of money, and how that would help you if we were doing business together. So that's what we're going to talk about there. And that actually was Marcus Garvey's mission back in the 1900s. And so we're going to have a long conversation now. What you guys don't know is Marcus Garvey is Gilbert's, I guess your guru, like Warren Buffett is mine. So,
That's
you
right.
know, he was all about Black economics, civil rights movement during a time when, um, it's a century after the Black enslaved people gained their independence, their not their independence, their what would you call it? Emancipation from the colonizers, and so he was at that point trying to bring us all together. So with that, we're going to get dive into deeper of who Marcus Garvey is and who are Garvey 2 points. Why our series for bridging the gap across the African American diaspora is called the 2.0 series, Garvey series. Now, we're not trying to duplicate him. We're expanding on based upon where we are today in our economic environment and empowerment. So with that, Gilbert, you want to kick it off? So
Oh yes.
welcome.
Oh yes. And for those who just joining us, welcome to the Business Zone. This is Coach Crystal and Coach Gilbert here. We do this show every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And it's all about small and micro businesses, guys. What we try to do is to help you guys to become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready, so you can go after contract opportunities, win, sustain yourself, take care of your family, take care of your community. That's really what this is all about. This is an extension of Marcus Garvey's vision and his economic plan. His plan, he started way back in the early 1900s, somewhere back in 1910. We started all of this. And then he launched what he called the Black Star Line program, which is a company that he owned back then. And he had, see what he did, he had the foresight, right, that if we're going to do black trade for blacks, because at that time, you remember, it's right after slavery, so there wasn't any opportunities for blacks. No one included blacks. So he created a pathway that would really help to galvanize black entrepreneurs and make them stronger and make them more productive, and thus promoting economic development. Marcus Garvey is also a national hero of Jamaica. He was made one of the 7 national heroes of the country because he helped so much with economic development. His thing was, if you come together and you do business, and like I said, this is 2.0, so it's not going to be the same kind of message like it was back then. So this is going to be not only just for black businesses, but it's going to be for minority businesses. So if you're from the Caribbean, you're an African, you're an Hispanic, you're Asian, you're Native American, any one of those groups that they consider to be minority groups, then that plan is for you guys. So that's what we're trying to do here, is to galvanize and get all the groups together who are entrepreneurs, so that you can start doing business among each other and not having to deal with the Babylonian force that try to exclude us from everything. They draw red lines around our communities and tell us what we can and cannot do. So Garvey's vision was to make sure he promote ownership, right? Ownership, not just working 9 to 5, because even though he's promoting entrepreneurship, he said, well, you can do a 9 to 5, but do the 9 to 5 just to learn how to do a process. So if you're trying to do transportation, you can do a 9 to 5 to learn that process from the employer. And then when you develop enough competency, then you go out there, you start your own business. If you're trying to be a mechanic or, any other trade, you do a 9 to 5 just to get on the job training. And then once you develop enough competency that you can provide a service that's needed by your customers in the marketplace, then you go out. So his system was necessary to sustain ownership, to be an enterprise owner. So an enterprise would be owning a business and making sure the business is managed well. See, a lot of people today, they own businesses, but they have no clue about managing or running the business, what's needed. And that's why we develop our system over here called Small Biz Pro, because Small Biz Pro look at four categories, four key areas in your business, which makes you whole. The business planning, general operations management, business development and marketing, and cash flow management. You deal with those four areas in your business, you can't go wrong. So those are some of the tenets of Marcus Garvey's system and his program. So ownership, enterprise, trade was very important. That's why he had the Black Star Line. And just so you know, the Black Star Line company, they produce ships. They had ships that would distribute products across the world. So they'll distribute. Let's say Crystal as a company, and she wants to get her products to, say, Nigeria. So then they'll ship it to Nigeria using his shipping line as a distributor, and to get it there and deliver it. And whomever she's doing business with will pick it up. The money is being processed, puts in the bank so that she gets her money, and the person she's doing business with get their products and services, and that's how it works. So that's what he developed. So he had that 360 system developed. Institutions. He's all about promoting institutions. So with that institution, you can develop networks. And within that network, you will have people that they understand your mission, they understand your process and what you're trying to do. So they'll be more willing to work with you, do business with you. Then transportation, we talked about that, getting the goods and services from one point to the next. And within that system, there was a logistic process, which, tells where your product is and what time it's gonna get there, that type of thing. If you've got perishables, non-perishables, you distribute those differently and separately. So that's the kind of thing, building global relationships, guys. Global relationships. That's what we're working on right now. So with this Garvey 2.0, we're establishing relationships in the Caribbean and in the African diaspora. So while we do that, on this program, we're going to be teaching classes on how, first of all, to be business ready and contract ready. So you can do business with foreign nations. So we'll know what they're looking for from your business and what you're looking for from their business. So we'll have a class on that and establish certification for that, so that everybody will be happy. They know what's going on this side of the fence, what's going on the other side of the fence. So that's what Garvey was all about. So now, him putting together this program wasn't just symbols for Black pride. No, it was about building infrastructure for the less possessed, the economically dispossessed people, which would be us. And that's what it is. The economic infrastructure, they would work on building that. And then by building that, then it will show some level of unity, and then you guys could benefit tremendously on that. So that's really what it is. So, co-host, you want to take over the next segment?
Yeah. Yeah. So the question. So think about this, guys. When the current president came into office, he talked about tariffs, and those tariffs were addressed to countries that the U.S. has trade agreements with. That's China, and he went back and forth, and there was a major game with that one. But the way those products get to us is via ships, right? So think back to 1900s, 1999, 1918, 1919. Marcus Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line shipping company. And it was designed as a globally integrated commerce enterprise for economic independence. And so it was to connect the entire world, not just not just one place. It was to connect, as you can see from the diagram there, Africa and Russia and China and everywhere. And then he was going to pick up, it was going to pick up product and then bring it over to the other countries in order for them to sell and make money. And so that's really what we're talking about. But I want you to think about when you get a package today in from Amazon or from Etsy or from Facebook Marketplace or Instagram Marketplace or um, um, TikTok Marketplace, there are a number of companies that are selling from other countries. And when you order your products, they're actually being shipped. So when you look at your tracking information, it didn't just fly in from airlines here in America. In some cases, it says your package has then been packed up in Beijing or Beijing, China, and then it's en route to you, and then you track it all the way until it actually gets to your door. So this was going on in 1919 by Marcus Garvey. And so, but if we think about it, who was all connected in that? Have you benefited from that, Gilbert?
Oh,
Yeah,
not at all. Uh-huh.
right. I haven't benefited from that. The United States government has benefited, but those of you that are independent entrepreneurs, you have not had an opportunity to do that. And so that is what that line was, what he created. So now I want you guys to, and this whole series is about opening up your mind and envisioning in reality what is was really happening, not what we were told, but what was really happening in the world. So, in today, he would be a black owned or a minority owned international trade, logistics, transportation, and economic development enterprise designed to connect producers, businesses, consumers, and markets across the African diaspora through global commerce. That's what we're talking about today, because that was then. What happened in between then and now, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about. And there's some key factors here. So it was more than a ship, it was actually a shipping company with the idea to broaden um, the international commercial connectivity. And so we're now going forward into how do we reduplicate that? How do we, if not duplicate it, how do we create that in 2026, right? And that is what Garvey 2.0, that's the conversation we're having here.
So, folks, I just want you to know that that man, he had a vision way ahead of his time. A lot of folks really didn't know where he was going, what he was thinking of until he started laying it out. You know, he had these meetings, you know, and he started speaking to people, letting them know how they can be more productive if they form these networks and work together and trade among each other and do business among each other, just like we're doing here on the Business Zone, where we're telling you guys, hey, you need to do business with other small businesses. You don't want to just do business just to do business. You got to form teams and alliances, and that will get you farther than you working by yourself. And one of the things that Garvey would say is, he said, a people cannot build lasting economic power without economic capacity. I'm going to say that again. Marcus Garvey, he understood that, and this was 100 years ago that he rolled out this philosophy. He said, a people cannot build lasting economic power without economic capacity. That means if you're trying to build economic wealth, economic development, there has to be some level of economic capacity. That means there's a capacity such as government contracting, such as opportunities, such as clients who will want to purchase or customers who want to purchase your products or your services. And what you're offering as a solution is definitely a good solution to solve the pain points in the marketplace for your customers. So that's really what he was promoting. Now, in solving a pain point in the marketplace, you got to build capacity. So building capacity means you have lines of credit, you have funds available to you. So when the opportunities come by, you can react, you can jump, and you can take on these things. So having proper transportation to transport your product to market, that was part of your capacity. Having funds to hire people to come in and manage these contracts that you're getting, that's capacity. The ability to produce, whether you're manufacturing goods, to get those goods to market and manufacture enough to get to the different sources that's placing orders from you. That's capacity. So all of these things, and then having staffing, enough staff on hand, again, that's capacity. So he knew what he was saying when he spoke about how people cannot last. Um, People cannot have lasting economic power if they don't have economic capacity. Now, here's something I want to go over with you guys, and I agree exactly with what my co-host is saying right now. Now, Garvey understood that consumption is only one part of an economy. Okay, consumption, one part of it. That's the procurement part of it. And real soon we're going to go over a system. There's a diagram here, a process flow of how things work. We're going to go over that soon. But in order for you to build capacity, you need producers. You need manufacturers. Producers could be your farmers. You could be your farmers, people who are farming products. They're getting those harvested and get them to you so that you can distribute them to the marketplace. Take them to stores like Costco or Sam's Club or those types of things. Then you got manufacturers. They make things. They make things like furniture, cars, shoes, these types of things that's needed. You have other consumer products that's needed. Then transportation is a system you need to transport from point A to point B. And that could be, you're driving a passenger vehicle where you're transporting people from point A to point B. Or it could be that you're doing delivery system, you're delivering packages and other items. So those are the types of things we're talking about, distribution. So you distribute the product from point A to point B. So that's another thing that's needed in order to demonstrate capacity. Having capital. Capital is key. Having capital. And you want to pursue capital before you actually need it. And that's why this upcoming class on Tuesday, this mentorship class that Coach Crystal is going to teach, is going to be so crucial, because she's going to go over how you qualify for capital. How do you do assessments for capital? How do you run your back office for capital? How do you you make sure your organizational house is in order for capital? So all of those things she'll go over with you guys. Another thing you'll need to do is you need markets in order to get your product and services out there so people know you're around and you provide these types of things. And that's why us looking at the African diaspora and the Caribbean diaspora is those are big markets for you guys. Big markets. I know many of you may be afraid because you've never done business internationally before, but this is something you want to consider. And I think it was 3 years ago, we've taken some courses through the SBA on how to conduct international business. And it was really amazing. I even done some classes in graduate school on international business as well. But knowing markets, your local domestic market as well as foreign markets is going to be key for you. There are 26 Caribbean countries that we're looking at right now, and then the 54 African nations. Do you see what I'm saying? So altogether, We're talking about 80 different markets, guys. 80 countries, 80 markets. Each country have multiple cities. So just think about that. So that's what we're trying to build for you. We're trying to build a pool that is very fruitful for you guys to tap into and expand your resource. And don't get bogged down by this redlining craziness that's going on here in the U.S. Against minority business, minority and women-owned businesses. All right. So you also need institutions in order, one, to build relationships, two, to educate yourself on systems and processes, and also to do business with them. There are many institutions out there that many of you don't think about doing business with. USC, UCLA, the court systems. I mean, many of you don't know you can do business with the court system. They need stuff too, just like everybody else. So, and again, in my platform, it's all of that is there. You can see how to access them. But we need to prepare you guys so that you can go after these and feel confident about going after these opportunities. Now, that's why the Black Star line matters. Okay, because all of these systems were developed within a network, so that back then in 1919, the entrepreneurs had leverage, they had places to go, they knew how to market, they knew how to go after opportunities. Garvey started out with about 10 people, 10 supporters. Now you got internet, and people get on the internet, social media, and they say, "Oh, you want to subscribe to me and you want to follow me?" Back then, he didn't have social media. His social media was his mouth. He'd get together on the street corner and start talking to folks. Hey, you want to come join this movement? Hey, what's in it for me? Well, let me tell you what's in it for you. And then he started outlining it. People start getting interested. So from 10 people, he went to like 100. And from 100, he went to 200. From 200, he went to like 3,000. And before you know it, he was 6 million strong, guys. 6 million entrepreneurs all over the world who were doing the type of businesses on his plan that he had launched. You have countries like Angola and other countries like that. They were even fashioning their economic plan after his approach. Many of those African countries, the flags that they have is fashioned off his, because his flag was red, green, and gold. Red, green, and gold. That was, and I think there's black on it too. And many of the African countries, that's the color of their flags, because they were fashioning that. They believe in buy black. He had a buy black program. So that's what that was. If you buy, and in today's, like I say, we're doing Garvey 2.0. So we're changing some of the approaches. So it's not just buy black, it's buy minority. We're doing buy minority right now, guys. So you work with different minority groups, and that's how it is. So just so you know, there's about 39% Hispanic here in California right now, 39%, and there's 15% African American. You put those together, what do you get? You get a majority. You're at 53%. So think about that alone. You put those folks together, you try to do business with those, you got a great network to do business with. So the idea was to create transportation infrastructure that could connect Black producers and consumers across borders. And historically, the Black Star Line was envisioned as a vehicle for commerce among Black communities in North America, the Caribbean, and Africa. Today, we're doing the Black Star Line. My co-host has a program, a system called Recycling Black Dollars. That's our representative of the Black Star Line today. Okay? So with her doing what she does and trying to sustain the dollar and make sure it stays longer in our community so we can thrive a little longer, that's how we're trying to get that going. So co-host, do you want to speak to this a little bit?
Yeah. So on the, I'm going to do the terminology, if that's
Yeah,
what I'm doing now.
yeah.
Okay. So translated in today's business terminology, the concept would look exactly like this. So we want you to see how the thought process is not a brand new conceived in the 21st century. This is back in the 1900s, 100 years ago. So there was the Black Star Line in 1919, as Gilbert has been telling you. And then today's business language, that would be international trade and logistics enterprising. So there are tons. If you go to any city that has major ports, Los Angeles happens to be one of the major ports. I believe San Francisco is a major port. I think
Washington.
Washington State is a major point, and then on the East Coast, you have all up and down the Eastern Seaboard, and those are all in trade, and that's where ships are coming in from all over the world in order to deliver products, your refrigerator, your stove, which are all coming from Korean manufacturers, your vehicles, all coming in from Korean and Italian and German if you're buying a foreign car. Very little, guys, is manufactured here in the United States. We did a show on that in last year in early 2025 on what was actually manufactured in the United States of America. Very little. So everything we receive is coming from everywhere else. Ships. Today, the ships are commercial transportation and logistic assets. So all the big ships and all of them that come into, say, if you're down in Long Beach, and all of those ships that are bringing in those big cargo containers are commercial transportation vehicles that multiple companies own. During the pandemic, I was down in, where was I? When we were having the shortage, and I was down in Newport Beach, and I was having lunch at a restaurant that had an outdoor patio, and you could see out on the horizon all of these barges, all these ships with the containers waiting to come into the port. That's when, just before Christmas, we had no toys and nothing was here, right? The shelves are empty because we had a problem. Now, in 1919, he was connecting Black communities. Now, as Gilbert just says, the diaspora market development network. Now, let me explain a little bit about the diaspora. So, African diaspora is anyone that were exported off of the continent of Africa and deposited all over the world. So that means all people. So a lot of those came into Mexico, they came into the Caribbean, they were deposited all across. So that is where institutional slavery for which took place since the 1400s. I believe it was the 1400s, were
Yeah.
distributed all over the world. And so the diaspora encompasses the entire world where there are people of color. Doesn't matter whether you're black, brown, you're a person of color. And this is where, this is what we're talking about in 2026, in the 21st century. The UNIA International Network. So that's what it was back there. Now it is the Global Business Development and Trade Network. So you've heard this a lot since the election because there's been a trade war that was started and launched by the current person in the White House. And so this is the language today, raising prices from supporters. So that means community today. Garvey had to go out and get money, like Gilbert said. It wasn't any money just sitting in a depository somewhere. He had to go out, and all these newly launched business owners, black and white, he had to go raise money. But mostly he got this from black millionaires that were all of a sudden appearing after slavery, and that was how he was able to get move his ships. That's how he ran his company. Today we have community investment and economic capitalization. So we have much more. We have more sources that we can actually derive money from than we did back there. And so with that, let me see some others over here as well. Then you had ports, so that's the trade and distribution. Let me go back one so we can be on the same page. We have the trade and distribution hubs. So those are the ports. Those are the ports I just discussed around the world. Moving goods. That meant he was importing and exporting and freight forwarding operations. So bringing products from other places, taking products from the from Great Britain, from America, especially from America during the slavery period, and taking that and distributing that all over the world. So that's your import export operations. And then your then I get it was called the Black owned business supplier in goods. So today would be called your supplier diversity and vendor ecosystem. So those are active in every country in the world, especially here in the United States, that falls under the supplier diversity. We do have some challenges with that right now because of what is happening in our political system. Selling between countries. So at this is in 1900, 100 years ago, cross-border B2B, which is business to business, and B2C, which is B to consumer commerce. And this was part of the economic empowerment and wealth building, and that was creating economic independence in other countries as well as here. If you guys have done any studying on China, instead of going into big wars like America did, China spent its time building these massive manufacturing companies, and in some cases, their people sleep on their employees are literally housed in an encampment, but housing, and they are there 24/7 to produce for China. Ownership of ships and infrastructure during the 1900s was a global business development and trade network. That is what vertical integration and control of distribution. That is what we're talking here on the Garvey 2.0 and doing business cross border, doing global international trade. And then the ownership, then the UNI, which is an international network. This was a global global business development and trade network, and so that is what is existing today. At the time, that was how Garvey was work. That was the international network he was working within, and then connecting Africa. To the Caribbean and America. So that is what we're talking about today, African diaspora international trade corridors. And then, but at this point, we're talking not just governmental entities, we're talking entrepreneurs, regular people like us, Main Street people like ourselves that actually create connect with a manufacturing company in any country in the African diaspora, provide the product, they manufacture the product, and then the product gets distributed all over the world. So now, just by the mere fact that you have a system in place, you're no longer out there peddling it on the streets, right? You're not having to you're not having to rely completely on social media outreach to market your business. You're actually marketing your business all throughout the world. Okay, get ready. So the next one is on supply.
Interesting. And for the folks who are out there listening, man, some of you are just tuning in, just joining us. This is an amazing process, an amazing bit of information we're providing you guys. This is stuff that you can use to learn, examine your own business, and see, if there's any resemblance to what we're talking about to your business right now. Now, as we know, no system is perfect. Every system that's out there has had its ups and downs. So even with the Garvey system, the Garvey Buy Black program that he created, even that had some hiccups to it, because there are certain entrepreneurs who were not paying attention to his system. They're not following the guidelines and the rules. So as a result, many of them, their businesses failed. And the reason it failed is because they weren't following the procedure. So, as strong as the Black Star Line company and an organization was, and the philosophy, many businesses that were supposed to follow those guidelines, they didn't make it. So, a big part of that is for us to take those weaknesses and those failures and build on them, strengthen them, and make them points that we will avoid in Garvey 2.0 so it doesn't happen again. So even though the vision was very strong, it wasn't enough. The businesses that failed, they required strong management. Many of them didn't have that because they thought, okay, we're building these networks, we have this system going, it's going to be great, we're going to make a lot of money, we don't have to do what we need to do, we don't need to train our people. But a lot of them were learning the hard way that, that's not how this works. So strong management was missing. So in 2.0, we're going to have to enforce that in our program, make sure that companies who are embarking on the plan that we're doing, to enhance and launch the African diaspora and Caribbean diaspora, is going to have strong management. Financial controls, you're going to have financial controls. That's where my co-host comes in with the bookkeeping, the accounting, the management of financials, tax returns, balance sheet, profit and loss statement, statement of cash flow. All of these things are things that businesses need to have an understanding of and be on top of. We know that many of our businesses, when you talk to them about financial, they don't want to have that conversation. They're saying, well, my bookkeeper will take up that. Oh, my accountant is handling that. And then we check with them again. Oh, yeah, my accountant is handling that. The next thing you know, they get in trouble because they either with the IRS or somebody takes the money out of their business and they don't even realize the person did that. So until like a year or two later, then they're going, where did this money go? Well, that person doesn't work for you anymore. They took your money. That's because you weren't on top of your financial. There's no financial controls. So my co-host, she enforces financial control in your business. So that's going to help you guys to grow. Experienced leadership is needed to make this program a success. You got to have experienced leadership. If you're not strong enough, you need to bring in outside resources, whether a consultant or somebody who can guide you, a business coach, someone to that effect who can guide you. But you need that leadership experience. Operational systems, you need to have a system in place. We talk about our back office system called Small Biz Pro, which is going to have all your operating documents in there. You can access them in 6 seconds or less whenever you need them, wherever you are in the world. You're going to need that governance. You're going to need to have governance. And what are governance? Well, governance could be external or internal. So let's talk about the external first. The external will be the regulatory system that the city, the county, the state places on you, or the feds, which would be the IRS, place on you. So filing your taxes, following your requirements for business license, following the requirements for registering with the Secretary of State, making sure that those documents get renewed on time every year. Otherwise, you're going to pay late fees or penalties. So those are part of your governance. Now that's external. Internal will be to make sure that you have systems in place, standard operating procedures, safety plans, safety manuals. Those are things that you will need to have. Make sure you have employee handbook. You know, if you have one employee, you got to have an employee handbook. So these are things you got to have and make sure that it keeps things in order. Everybody understand what time it is and how they need to operate. What time do you show up to work? Well, it's supposed to show up at 8 o'clock. Don't show up at 9 and say, "Oh, I thought it was supposed to be 9 o'clock." No, it's 8 o'clock. You follow the guidelines and the procedures. Accountability. Everyone is held accountable from upper management to the lowest person in the organization. Accountability is important. Nobody shifts blame. Everybody work together as a team. Make sure things are done. Whatever you're responsible for, you take care of that. That's why they have a scope of work that people need to follow on projects or within the organization. Risk management, that's another piece that is important. When you're operating in your business, your job is to minimize the risk because your exposure to risk can cost you a lot of money. You know, you don't want to be liable for anything. Like, for example, you become liable for a lawsuit. That's never something that's pleasant. Become liable because you allow your employee to run around recklessly and say and do reckless things. That's not good for you. You got to protect yourself. Running a business means that you make as much money as possible while limiting your exposure to liabilities. That's what running a business is all about. And the third part of that, the third leg is take care of your customers. Make sure you're satisfying their pain in the marketplace. So that's what running a business is all about. So risk management, don't want to expose yourself to risk. You got to manage that properly. Minimize any exposure. And then finally, sustainable capitalization. So the capital that comes into your business, make sure you manage it effectively and efficiently so that your company can be sustainable. One way of doing that is getting a line of credit. Most of you small businesses, you don't need a loan. You do not need a loan. What you need is a line of credit. That line of credit will give you access to working capital. It will give you access to hiring people. It will give you access to making certain payments out of that fund until you get paid from a project you're on or a contract that you're on. So that's how that works, guys. So you want to make sure you look at those things. Historical accounting documents, those are serious operational and management systems and documentation that needs to be managed. You know, with the Garvey venture, those are things that were problematic to a lot of the African American. Well, this wasn't African American; it was just African countries, black businesses, black corporations that they weren't following those things. So as a result, many of them became insolvent. Insolvency means you don't have money to run a business. You run out of business. You run out of money. When you run out of money, what happens? You run out of business too. So that's what was going on back then when people didn't listen to Garvey. They didn't follow his process and his system. So we don't want that to happen again. And that's why we're doing Garvey 2.0. And that's why we're training you guys in these areas to prevent this. So you have the capacity and competency to run your business effectively. There should be no struggles. You guys should not have to struggle and have any management problems or anything like that. So my co-host, do you want to add anything to that or?
No, that's exactly right. So running a business is exactly that. You got to run a business, right? So we can have amazing products or services, but if the business, anything falls apart in the manufacturing or the production, the transportation, the logistics, or the distribution of that product, then now everybody has a problem. So you have to make sure, that's what I was saying, a strong foundation, and that if the foundation and the systems are in place, it doesn't matter whether you're there or not. The business runs without it because it's set up. It's already set up of how it's supposed to get the idea, the product to market, the market through processing, then the market through distribution, and the market to sell, the product to sell. And that is really that's business. And I don't care whether we're doing it here in America, just you and I, business to business, or you and a consumer, you to be the C. That's the same process, but it has to have a system. And Gilbert, the one thing that we know that is the biggest issue for solopreneurs is, how do you have a system with one person? Right. So let's imagine what that looks like. We got one person, the solopreneur. He's running from developing the product, right? Then he got to get it manufactured, right? Then he got to get it to distribution. And generally that means he has it in his early solopreneurs had it in the trunk of their car. And that's called,
they're going to market it.
That is called running it, going from market to market to market to find the people in order to sell the product. And then securing the finances. Now he's the accountant. He's the accounts receivable and accounts payable person. And then from there, he is then he runs it off to the bank, and then he comes back and sells that process. So you can't. That's not sustainable.
He's Jamaican, man. He got 15 jobs, man.
So now right, exactly. So who owns the business? Who produces the goods? That's when we become real business people. Who transports those goods? Not us in the back of the car. Who finances those businesses so that you can continue to produce your product? Who controls that distribution? And then finally, how are you connecting to other organizations? How are you connecting with all of these entities to make sure your business gets to marketplace, right? So they didn't escape all, solopreneurs. There ain't nobody in between. You wearing all the hats, and on top of that, you got to come back and do janitorial services, then clean your place up after manufacturing. So we're looking at, let's be part of a larger economy, a larger ecosystem, right? And that's what you're looking at, is creating an ecosystem that you're not the only person doing that. So you have production, you have procurement of a contract, right? Then your transportation, then it moves on over to distribution. Or other way, it can go this way or it can go this way. Bottom line, you're getting to this middle one, the revenue place, but it can go either through distribution in the marketplace somewhere else that's selling it, or from reinvestment to over here. But bottom line, you are creating a integrated economic ecosystem that is helping you get your product to market. You guys understand that? It doesn't matter what type of business you're doing. This is the process for everyone. If it's a physical product, then you have obviously other routes that you have to take. You have that transportation. But even if you're like we are, service-based businesses, we still got to get a distribution channel, right? In order to get it to a marketplace, in order to get the revenue. It just doesn't happen. We have to have contracts with procurement for that. The only thing that we're not dealing with from a service-based business is it doesn't have to be transported across the internet. Well, I guess it is transported. It's across the internet. Zoom is our transportation.
And distribution system.
That is how we got it out there. And so that's what we're talking about, guys, is that being able to get your product from place to place. Now, let's go back here to the marketplace. So here in the 2.0 version, the Garvey 2.0, we're looking at how do we get a product that we're making here in California, or and how do we get it to Jamaica, right, to service their people,
Yeah.
or vice versa. How, if you're producing something in Jamaica, castor oil is created and distributed in created in Jamaica. So how can we, as business owners here, let's say we own a beauty supply store, are we selling castor oil? Do we sell castor oil for hair? Right?
Mhm.
Jamaican, what is it called? Black Jamaican, I think it's called black gold castor oil. It's supposed to
Yeah.
make your hair grow, do all those things.
Yeah. I
So
think it's
that is
called black gold.
black gold, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's called black gold.
Okay. So you're finding um you are buying directly from the investor. You're not going to I have a store. I'm going to straight to Jamaica, and I need to buy I don't know, 12 cases of black gold to put in my beauty supply store, my black owned beauty supply store, right? Now we've cut out the middleman, right? We're not going to the other person who actually used his distribution center system in order to get it to us. And if we bought it from the other, that means we're paying, we might be paying a marginally higher wholesale price than we would if we went direct. We're paying straight wholesale price. We cut out the middleman. Now you get to keep all the money,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so that's what we're looking at, guys, is how we're not disconnected from anything. There's a global supply chain out there. We just have to know how to get that.
That's true. That is true.
Right.
And
So
I know this may seem like a lot of information for folks, but if you think about it, you will see exactly what we're saying. And we got a one pager that we could give you guys that you guys can check it out and see what we're talking about. But it's up to you to get your business and contract ready and be prepared to start doing business with all the folks around you. Sometimes you don't even know what the other proteges around you do. So always have that conversation. Ask them how is business, what are some of their challenges that they're experiencing. And then while they're telling you those things in your mind, you're trying to calculate and see all right, how could I be a benefit to this business? How could I help them? So,
exactly.
yeah.
So this is basically the map. It's pretty simplistic, right? Consumers buy the product. A portion of the returning resulting capital is reinvested directly into the participating businesses across the trade quarter. So Jamaica being node one, then it comes over here. Node two is Kenya, their manufacturing hub producing textiles. Jamaica creates coffee. Then we come over here to node three. We have the business owner distributor and the U.S. retailer, and now the purchases, who purchased the inventory through the suppliers, is all here, just one little round circle.
Yes.
And a global commerce in action, and that's what a modern scenario would look like. And so it's
Mhm.
not complicated. It's not. It's just making the right connections, and that's part of the step. If we have to have certain certifications, that's why Gilbert and I are going to be running courses to help you get certified, just like he is certifying you for um, just like he's certifying you for contracts and procurement right here in the United States. You probably have less hurdles in this scenario than you have trying to get connected with some of the suppliers here, as Gilbert just said when they were talking to him, when he was talking to the supply what is it, the SBA today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ship is now modern, and that modern ship, Gilbert, actually has internet lines all over the world.
Mm-hmm. They even got AI connected, huh?
AI connected. So we now have an asset light international platform, right? It's just a matter, the logistics is much simpler to move things around. It's about contracts. It's about being technologically savvy. You will have to use platforms, procurement network. You don't even have to have the warehouse anymore in your right there. You don't even have to have a building, right? You
Right.
can go directly to a manufacturer that has created a product for you. It may not even be here in this country. It may be right there in their country, right?
Yeah.
It's really just about being able to navigate through the system. And so you're pivoting from an asset heavy methodology, ships, in order to get your product to marketplace all over the world. And so that's basically the modernized way of doing it. And then, Gilbert, you want to take over the contracting piece of this?
Okay.
And
So,
it's pretty much the same contracting, right?
which segment are we in?
Oh, I think it's in let's go. Um we're on the big one, on the one I gave you.
Okay. All right. So with the contracting piece, guys, it's pretty simple. If you want to do contract, you got to make sure you're ready to do contract. You can't just go and say, "Hey, I want to do contract. I know how to do contract." You got to be ready. You got to know what their requirements are, what is it they're looking for, and evaluate your business and see if you have those things they're looking for. Now, if you do your evaluation and you don't have those things, then you need to start developing those things and have them ready and available in your business. That will make you as a small business look more attractive to them, whether they're local or whether they're abroad. So those are things you want to do to get yourself ready. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, you're like a pick me." Well, you know what? Being a pick me is not too bad. As long as you're getting a contract, they can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want about you. You're getting paid. You're going to be able to feed your employees and your family. So you don't care what they say about that. You're acting like maybe.
Exactly. Just long the money coming in. I have no desire to be the general contractor. I'll take a sub any day. I don't need to be the main dude. I can be the secondary dude. Do that.
Some people think they can shame you. They can shame small business. And, what are you trying to do? You're buddy up to the coach, or you're buddy up to the consultant. You're buddy up to the contract provider. Yeah, I want to buddy up so they see my value that I'm bringing to them, because the competition is so great. So I just want to buddy up so they can see that I can provide a solution they're looking for. And if it's going to be established like a low hanging fruit, then you want low hanging fruit. You're not going to make it difficult for you to get to what you need. So
No, not at all. Not at all. And today is so much easier, Gilbert. I mean, just like I just said earlier, we don't physically, all we have to do is have a computer, a working computer, and a,
exactly.
and a, and a decent internet line. That's all you need. 50 bucks for the 50, 60 bucks for your internet, a
Yeah.
good working computer, and some
And
savviness on
then
how to use it.
and
You
then
can
and then once
digitally.
you have all of those in place, then you have a little proposal template that you can use to plug in the information. Oh, where you get that information again for your proposal? Well, you get it from your SOQ, your statement of qualifications. That's where you get it from. You just copy and paste that stuff in there. Oh, by the way, there are some other stuff I need which is not in the SOQ. Well, you look at your capability statement. You will find it right there. How about my pricing? Well, not a problem. We go over pricing in these mentorship classes. We teach you guys how to do pricing, and you keep copies of that. So when it comes time for you to put that as a package in your proposal so you can win, that's what you do. You do what you know, what you learn, and you submit it out there and, see how soon you can get awarded the contract. So these are the kind of things, guys. It's simple stuff, but hey, sometimes it's best to reiterate those simple stuff than not to do it at all. Somebody miss out on a contract, either because they didn't put enough information in, they didn't put the right information in, or when they got done with it, they go to submit it, and when they submit it, it's too late. It's too late because it's 10 minutes after, so that's another thing.
Exactly. And if Garvey was around today, he had chips. He would probably be in heaven right about now with he could do what he did not have is AI, e-commerce, digital payment, cloud computing, LinkedIn. So now you can just find the people on LinkedIn, Zoom to meet with the people any day or time of the day. You could be in Timbuktu. If it's got an internet line, you can figure out what the time is, different time zone, and have a meeting in the middle of the night. And one is in the middle of the day on the other day. If it's 12 hours apart, then somewhere there's daylight happening for both of you at 10 in the morning time. 12 hours is 12 o'clock on one side and 12 o'clock on the other side. Global online marketplaces. You can have your print them on demand sites. You can have your Shopify sites. You can have your Facebook marketplace. You can have your WhatsApp marketplace. You can have your Instagram marketplace, and you can have your TikTok marketplace, your Etsy. There is no shortage of global online marketplaces today. Anywhere you want to sell, you can sell. All you have to do is put up some pictures, and then the distribution should be in some place that's globally available. Right? That is being shipped out. That is what Amazon does. Amazon has warehouses all over the world, and they ship from all over the world. TikTok actually has stuff. Temu, which I find absolutely incredible, because if you remember during the early the presidential election or inhabitant, he was they were going on about Temu being a Chinese spy agency, right? And so everybody was terrified to buy from Temu. So now you can buy from Temu. And what I have found out, Gilbert, from shopping at Temu, I don't think Temu, Shein, or Amazon, especially the Chinese distributors, are any different. I think they're all the same. I've seen the same product in all of those different areas. I've seen it all over Facebook. I've seen them all over TikTok. And so you literally are buying from one marketplace. So just so y'all know, Modern Logistics is our platform. And so that's easy. And then how do you get money through and from is through fintech. And that's using digital current methodologies. Money is wired from one bank to another. You could actually have if you bank with HBC, I think, or they actually are multiple countries, and so you can have and they are here in the United States, and that is how you do business. You wire money back and forth, and then you have instant global communication. We're communicating, I would imagine, with people when they go to YouTube. They can see this show. I've seen that we have people watching for Japan.
Right. That's true.
In the last 3 episodes, most of the visitors watching the shows have been in Japan.
Yeah.
Is that amazing, right?
Yes.
So So we're going to kind of end right there. But what we want you guys to do, we're going to ask you to do when you come back to us next week. We will have more wonderful conversation going on. We want you to start thinking where is a product that you are selling or service that you're offering. What country would do your research? You can use your AI, you can use Google, you can use whatever you want.
Yeah.
What other country could, what problem could your product or your service solve in another country? Because
Yeah.
that's the key. As a business owner, is what problems are you solving, and do you have the solution? That's
Yeah.
really all this is about. And so, you guys, I would like that would be fantastic because that's this platform is all about. I'm going to jump on out of this. This platform is all about us really looking at how we can expand our business platforms. That's
Yeah.
all we're talking about. How can we do business outside of this country and make money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Opening up.
I would say, man, just if you follow those principles, make sure you got your organizational house in order. You build those connections and networks. Do informational sessions with some of these guys so they can see what you're about. You don't have to charge for that. That's like a little informational session. You say, well, let me go through, some of the things we look for and how we work with our clients or vendors, and that type of thing will help. Digital market placement, that's really where it's at right now. That's the kind of thing that's out there. That's the kind of thing that's going to work. So, you want to tap into opportunities, guys. Tap into opportunities. Look at Africa. Look at other Caribbean nations. That type of thing. So yeah.
Look at so that's the basic shift, guys. Is just moving from a shipping company to international procurement, supplier chain, and building an economic development ecosystem that doesn't require you getting on a plane, doesn't require a ship getting the product to you or to your customer. It just requires a mind shift on that I can do business, and I guess maybe that's some confidence, maybe
Yeah.
that I can do business anywhere I want to.
Yeah. And with us guiding you guys, with us guiding you, man, you're gonna feel so different. You're gonna see things differently. We love to do research, so when we provide research, it's gonna help to support your case and help to support your position. I teach multiple different ways. I never teach the same way twice, and that's because I'm always researching my material before I make it available to anyone. So. That's a
Same
little
thing
something.
here.
So I think we ran out of time here, co-host. So
I think we have.
we definitely want to continue this next week. I think that will be what, second to last, third to last segment of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about actual infrastructure. We're going to get more into the nitty gritty. We've been talking on a highbrow. So now we're going to actually bring in countries. We're going to ask you guys some questions. If you're really interested, how does this fit into your business model as it stands today?
Yeah,
Do you have to readjust your business model?
yeah,
Right? And that can be done. A lot of people did a lot of pivoting during the pandemic, and some people were not manufacturing, but realized that to make them an essential business, they needed to be manufacturers, right?
yeah,
And so they
yeah,
figured out ways to become manufacturers. So I just need you to think differently. I need, from a financial standpoint, we're coming to the end of the year, and I want you guys to think of a wonderful number that you'd like to generate in revenue in 2027. And then Then you can come to our courses and classes, and we can help you fill in how you make that, how you actually accomplish that number that you create. So if you want that number to be $500,000 next year, if you only been at 100,000, you need to have a major plan to get to $500,000. But it can be done because you now are going from an asset heavy business model to an asset light business model that is creating global exposure to international trade. So that is what that's our story, and we're sticking with it, man. Sticking with it. All right, guys.
This has been a great presentation, co-host.
Yes, it has. So, guys, we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. It's hot out there. Stay cool. Be safe. And tune back in here next week. But at the same time, going over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. You can check out our other videos as well. And then that may give you some ideas. So that's all we're doing. Hopefully, we're opening up the mind so all these incredible ideas can start to materialize. You know, Gilbert, is funny. When I teach, when I do coaching, and they send them over and they're referred over to me. What is actually interesting is when they leave, they go and they'll send me an email going, Lord have mercy, I had no idea all of that was available to me out there, that I could be doing business this way. I'm thinking this is my only way is going down this road right here. And now you didn't opened up all kinds of avenues for me to get into or to look at or to research. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. And that's why I say that's what business coaches do. We help you think outside of your own little space there to grow.
That's right.
All righty. Well, we're going to say goodbye to everyone, and we're going to hopefully see you guys next week.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And don't forget to go over and subscribe to us and check out some of our other videos and really give it some thought. So, guys, we will see you all next week. We are going to sign off and say, have a happy weekend and be cool, be safe, be happy, and let's unite and let's make some money next year.
That's right. All right.
Sign us out.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman.